Hello everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast synopsis. This synopsis is part of the Chaos Imprint. This audio podcast as part of the Path modality. This audio podcast is part of the Shitstorm broadcast. This audio podcast is part of the Armada Storm mode, and this audio podcast as part of a Storm Logistics production. In this synopsis, an overview of this series that looks at a review, we looked at a review of virus structure and nature and pathogenicity. Now, just to also sort of inform listeners and viewers and readers, is that this audio podcast series is sort of a retrospective based on some notes based on some iterated notes from the early millennia. And so, in on this audio podcast series, there will be some literature, some more updated literature that listeners and viewers and readers, for example, that sort of look and check out some of the works in on Storm Logistics Productions can actually refer to and look to identify further works from authors and researchers, for example, in around the basis of this series, in around the basis of this series. So the this audio podcast series looks to cover sort of an intro that looks in around what is a virus, and look at sort of virus structure and classification, and then there will be a look at then there's a look at sort of the properties of viruses used in classification, and then there'll be a look at replication strategies, which then looks into which where the audio podcast delves into large into a bit into and around the basis of large viruses and small viruses. Then there's a basis of looking at, and additionally looking at viral infection versus viral disease, diseases, and wherein there'll be a look into, or there'll a sort of an overview of in around where viruses must, in order for a virus to have the basis of cause an infection. There must be a virus would have to have the basis of the sort of the pathogenicity in around different aspects. And then there will be a look at the transmission of viral infections, and where there's an overview in around the two major patterns of transmission and transmission of viral infections that may be described as, and how they're described as, and then I look at sort of the in around an overview in around the sort of bases and in around the entry of viruses through for entry of viruses, and how they sort of cause their sort of elements of potency. And then there is a basis of an audio podcast that looks into this sort of the spread of viruses within the host. So I look at sort of a viral infections and viral infection for viral infections to be viral infections, that they're in around the systemic basis and the localized basis. Then there's the effect of then there is a look at an audio podcast in the effect of viral infection on the host, viral infection on the host, and look at how damage to the host can be due and I look at where an audio in an audio in one of the in this audio in an audio podcast in the series. There's a look at viral infection, in how in the result of and the result of of the basis of what of the basis of in around what a viral infection can have, and then there and then in as part of one of the sort of closing audio podcast in this series, there is a look at defense mechanisms and immune response to infection, and look at non-specific defense mechanisms, and a look at and sort of a quick and look at specific immunological defense mechanisms. So that draws this audio podcast as synopsis to a close. This audio podcast synopsis is part of the Chaos Imprint. This audio podcast is part of the Shitstorm broadcast. This audio podcast as part of the Path modality. This audio podcast is part of the Armada and Storm mode. This audio podcast as part of a Storm Logistics production.